Ladies and gentlemen, chess is a beautiful but stressful game. And if you're watching this video right now, you fit into one of two categories. You've either played chess, or you've never played chess. Now, if you have played chess, you know that it can be stressful to boot up a game and risk your precious elo against other players. If you've never played chess, it might seem too complicated to even start. But it's not. There's a nice little middle ground to practice your chess against bots. And on chess.com, there are many bots. They are little avatars that play at a certain skill level: beginner, intermediate, advanced, etc. In this video, I'm going to play 4 of the most notorious bots on chess.com, and I'm going to try to beat them as fast as possible, but also in a manner that is instructive to all of you watching. These are the most annoying bots. I asked my community which ones they think they are. They have named them, and I'm going to play against them. I will put little things on the timeline for you to jump around, and we are, of course, going to start with the most notorious and famous bot of all, Martin. After that, we're going to move up to play Nelson, the intermediate bot. Then we will play against Lee, the advanced bot, and then we will end with Nora, who is one of the master level bots. I'm going to start with the black pieces. Now, look, bots are programmed to be slightly weaker than humans. They play kind of ridiculous. They will make mistakes, and they will help you practice your tactical vision. Now, Martin in particular, some of you watching this can't even beat Martin. I made a video once giving Martin 30 queens, and I still won. So what you want to do in the beginning of the game, take the center of the board. I don't care how you do it. Could be with a knight, could be with a pawn. This is already, for anybody slightly more advanced than a beginner watching, this is not a good move. You kind of weaken the square on e4. What I mean by that is 2 pawns stand side by side, and that means nobody can fight for this square. You also block in your bishop. It's not a horrendous move, but it's not a great move. I'm going to stick to basic principles, and we're going to... Yeah, so let me tell you something right now. The giant fork attack, which is getting played in this game, is not good. This doesn't have a name. You will never, ever see a human play like this, only Martin, right? I'm going to stick to principles. I'm going to play in the center. I'm going to develop my knight and my bishop. I'm going to get my other bishop out, get my other knight out, and then we're going to castle. Okay, pawn to e6. I didn't want to block in my bishop. So far, okay, Martin is literally just glitching through the timeline. I don't know what's going on. This move also used to protect that pawn, and by going there, my bishop can now take that. So I can just take that with the check. It's a free pawn. Now, the best move for Martin would be this move. I can't take this because the knight is protecting it. I could try to capture the knight and remove the defense, but look, I'm just going to be very simple. I want a pawn. I'm going to drop back. I'm going to show you good principles. At this point, I'm expecting this move, right? Because Martin... is not a particularly strong chess player. He is not a very impressive guy. And Martin blunders his queen. So as long as you play normal, solid moves that are not too dumb, you will be able to beat Martin quite quickly. But this video will get a lot stronger, a lot faster. In the interest of time and not playing Martin a whole lot, I won't even develop this knight. I'm just going to get my queen into the game with a move like queen to h4 and try to checkmate. Hopefully Martin, blunders something. We'll see how good his survival skills are. Okay, very mildly good. I will grab the bishop. Maybe he won't even take it. He doesn't take it, which means I should have a checkmate quite soon. In fact, I can just come right back here, taking this. But an even better move is a double check. So the king comes forward, and now your queen. It would be really nice if the queen could go there. That would end the game, but it does not quite work because the knight would capture it. So we are like two or three moves away from winning this game. We just have to convert it. I'm getting very slightly annoyed that the game's not over yet. He will have to block, and then I'm going to take, but we will win. I promise. Probably going to take my bishop, and then I will go here, and then he's going to go here. Martin has a fascinating ability to just survive long enough that you start feeling bad, and then maybe you start making your own mistakes. Follow good principles of chess. You will defeat Martin. You will defeat him consistently. He will just lose his pieces like one after the other. He is quite literally programmed to lose. If you are still not beating Martin, that's okay. It gets better. Look for checks. He's going to go here. I'm going to take another piece. Soon you're up 26 points of material. There is not much more material you can be up. I'm kind of expecting this move. Okay, he didn't play that move. Let's take this pawn. And we're going to convert this by playing a couple more moves. Good moves. Swarming the king. Getting the knight in, getting the rook, and the very next opponent already is going to be a very big boost. This is a check removing the defender. Maybe he'll run his king. Okay, he does not run his king. Now we hunt down the king. He's telling me to think carefully. Thank you, Martin. Here, Then we hunt down the king again. Okay, he's running to the corner. One of these two moves is mate. Okay, he survives for one more move. The easiest way to win this, cut the king off on the last row of the board. Don't let him escape, and then that's mate. Ladder mate. Yeah, I gotta say, Martin got pretty close, actually. Right, he did get a little bit close here. Martin is easy. Practice against Martin if you're a beginner. Be solid. Wait for his blunders. Wait for him to come to you. That's how you beat Martin. Now, where it gets more challenging is the intermediate bot Nelson. Nelson is just the worst. I'm going to play black against Nelson. I'm going to show you Nelson is the beginner's worst nightmare because what he does, he brings out the queen and he terrorizes you because he breaks all opening principles just trying to beat you with the queen. All right, he's got this is his move 100% of the time. Maybe 99 when he tries to bring out his bishop. All right. What he's going for here is a direct attack on this and to bait you and make you forget that you are hanging this pawn. That's actually the direct threat of this move. This is only secondary when he brings in the bishop. You're fine. You can't lose a chess game in 2 moves. Stop panicking. Just develop your knight and guard the pawn. Now he's going to come bishop here. Now, here you can lose the game. You wouldn't be the first beginner to lose the game very quickly. The best move here is to block with the pawn. But of course, you can also block with the queen. Something like queen to f6. It's not the best move. And I almost said Martin. I mean, he basically plays like Martin. He is programmed to, continue to attack you some way. My advice is kick out his queen and then develop your pieces like normal. But to be honest, if you trade off Nelson's queen early, he's useless. He's completely useless. Like, look, I'm going to take his queen. And now he doesn't have his most powerful and useful piece. You just need to make sure he doesn't hit you with any ridiculous, tactics over. So let's just develop. Now, I have kind of blundered this move. Let's see if he finds it. So he is programmed at all times to hunt down the weak squares in front of your king. Now, I actually can move this knight backwards and defend against this threat, okay? But let's even say I don't do that. Like, let's say I just blunder into the whole thing. Now he can go here. Oh, goodness, right? Well, that's not even a good move. He's not even executing his attack correctly. The bishop is defended by the knight, which is hanging. So as long as I keep my king eyeing this bishop, I'm winning something now. You see, he just blunders after like 8 moves. Now I take the knight and I'm totally winning because I'm going to take the bishop next. Or I'm going to take a bunch of his pawns. Now I can start doing to him what he was doing to me. I'm going to try to fork him. Not only does he allow this fork, he gives me another one. This dude is so bad. He doubled the amount of possible forks. I mean, this is easy now. Guys, this is doable. If you can't beat Nelson, see, he is just programmed to attack. And now you're like, well, what is this move? That's a free pawn. No, it's not. He's attacking this. But all right, let's blunder into it. Let's blunder into it and then make our way out of the position. All right, he comes here. We move our knight. This is going to be next. He's so tricky. He actually can get us in a little bit of trouble here. We got to defend this pawn or we just have to make another move. All right, we're going to take this pawn. Now we are under the wrath of Nelson, but he's not even, again, he's not punishing us the best way. He's attacking the knight. My knight is looking a little bit stuck. Okay. Let's bring the knight back because we were going to lose it. And again, we're letting him get what he wants a little bit, but we're just going to try to win. All right, I'm not going to try to beat the Nelson as hard as possible, but I am going to try to remove his pieces to show you that he is not so scary. Now your king is safe. He only has 2 bishops and a knight. You have a rook. So we're going to get the knight out. Going to try to trade the pieces down. How do we win a winning position? Trade the pieces. Trade the pieces. He's not going to be able to do anything. Now look at this bishop here. We're going to trade a bishop and a knight. Nelson's out of pieces. Have you ever seen Nelson so neutered? All right, and now we develop the bishop here. And then we just keep it moving, okay? Get the bishop out. Let's block this. And now let's get the rook, and we're going to win all his pawns, and life is going to be good. Okay, fine, let's go here. And then if the bishop takes, we come rook b8. Yep. Nelson can't do anything. This is the way you beat Nelson. Even if you allow his most powerful queen attack, you trade the queen or you defend against his checkmates. We already know what to do. And now we're going to promote these pawns, and we're going to stop him from doing that. You don't have to win all his pawns. You don't have to. Just don't stalemate. Okay? There are some ways to stalemate here. You don't have to win his pawns. Let's just make a queen. We're going to pre-move that down. He can't stop us. And then we're going to use our queen to checkmate him. Let's come check. You can just check him until you run out of them. Check, check. Let's see, he's going to come down here, and now I'm looking at this check, and now he's going to have to take. And now I'm looking at this check, and that's mate, right? I have one of two ladder mates. So Nelson is always going to do something like this against you, and as long as you protect yourself for about 10 moves, and either get the queens off the board, or trade down a knight for a bishop, or some of these other pieces, and then you launch a counterattack, Nelson is not that strong. He's really not that strong. There are other intermediate bots which are definitely stronger than Nelson and play more principled chess. Now, where it actually gets difficult, and not just as a beginner, is the advanced level. It actually gets quite challenging there. You know, I did a speed run once. I tried to beat every advanced bot, and I lost to one in particular named Lee. Now, I did have an honorable mention. You know, I wanted to play 4. I am, so in the interest of time, you know, there is one bot that a lot of people also say Wally, for some reason, is a real nightmare for people. But Lee in particular, very technical, very good at the end game. Now, I lost to Lee when we played, right? I actually lost when I played the advanced bot speedrun. Wally is challenging, and Lee in particular. Now, I'm just going to play a London. I haven't played a game with white yet. Already, this is not a great move from Lee, developing the knight in front of the c-pawn in a queen's pawn game, because the knight is sort of not fighting for the center as much as it could. But okay, it's fine. Let's just develop. Let's play a completely normal London. Something like knight bd2. We're not doing anything exceptional. Lee is this is, again, these bots make inaccuracies in the beginning. I wanted to go here anyway, so Lee is just simply losing time and helping me develop. And says, I need more experience playing bad position. Okay, geez, that's terrifying. Lee is just basically admitting to getting a bad position on purpose. Again, we have many different approaches here. I'm going to go here and try to damage the pawn structure. It's not maybe the critical approach, but it is an approach. And now, queen a4. Okay, we're just being solid. We're not getting into a tactical battle. I think Lee already has made a big mistake. I can take this pawn with a check. Okay, and Lee gets a lot stronger as the game goes on. Lee is a very tenacious bot, always fighting back from worse positions, and very good in the endgame. So it's about sustained pressure and stopping counterplay. I actually think maybe I can even take that pawn, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to go here. I have an extra pawn, black can't castle, and I'm threatening to win even more pawns. So, again, we think maybe knight f6 is going to happen. I can maybe even push here. But let's just stick to good principles. We're going to stick to good... Wait, let's just castle. We haven't castled yet. Queen b8. What does that threaten? It threatens this. I mean, I can defend it. Like with a move like b4. To be honest, taking here is actually very dangerous for black. The b2 and b7 pawns, fun fact, are called the poison pawn in chess. Because the poison pawn, if you take it, it's like, you know, biting something poisonous. And in this case, it would be a counterattack directly on the king. I still think b4 is a reasonable move. I actually really like the move pawn to c4. And in general, look, the way you approach any chess position, right? First thing that happens is your opponent makes a move and you go, what are they trying to do? They're trying to take this pawn. And then you have to ask yourself, is it a legitimate threat? As a strong player in this position, you identify it's not as legitimate, but okay. Now you immediately start thinking, do I defend the threat? Or checks, captures, attacks. How do I improve my position? How do I do something beneficial here, etc.? You don't have any checks, captures, or threats, but one move that I really like here is a move like pawn to c4, just trying to open up the position like this. I also like b3 preparing c4. Let's go b3 and prepare the move c4. And since your queen is kind of deep in the opponent's territory, you're always looking, okay, I mean, now I'm not really looking at much. I was looking at how to escape. I want to take with the queen. I also kind of would like my knight, you know, maybe on the c6 square. So how about the move knight e5? Trying to get my knight to replace my queen. Okay, well, I can still do it, right? I can still take and then replace. Or I can just advance. I had multiple ideas here. Let's go with this. Let's go with pawn to c4. Just advancing in the position. Does that move threaten anything? Maybe g5, but then I would just move. So what do? We can keep advancing. I kind of like advancing even more into the black position. Maybe we just kind of play a move like this so our bishop can always get out. Okay, bishop d6. Yeah, Lee is a good fighter, you know, and I still have to convert this position And that is definitely not simple against such a bot. So let's say maybe we just bring the rooks and we play super chill, a super relaxed game, putting pressure down the C file and win the game in the long run, right? I've anticipated all of this. Okay, C5 now looks actually very promising. But also I can just double my rooks. I don't see anything wrong with just doubling, improving the position. I can take on D5 now to open up my position. Okay, takes back with the pawn. That's interesting. Now I'm going to double my rooks. I have a lot of pressure on the C7 pawn. Rook C6 looks really juicy. Knight back to D3 also looks pretty juicy. I'm trying to trade the bishop and just remove this. Against that, maybe Knight C5 check actually doesn't look so bad. Knight C5. And then I think a lot of things in this position are pretty good for white. Let's take on D6. I think Lee's going to take with the pawn, actually. Yeah. And now I'm going to cut the king off on the last rank of the where it's standing, so it's kind of difficult to do anything. I'm looking at Rook A7. I'm also just looking at kicking the knight out first, and then kind of bringing my king. Against Lee, you need to take a very balanced approach. You can't do anything too quick. Like I said, very good with the counterplay. Like Rook C6 looks like a very nice move here. I really like this move, just immediately going for the second pawn. If I win a second pawn here, okay, Lee's giving me 2 pawns. Lee is giving me a 2-pawn advantage here, right? It's basically saying you can take and take that pawn, and that will be winning for me. I just have to be confident that I can convert that position. I don't want to allow any chances here, okay? So I'm going to take it, and then maybe before I take the second pawn, I'm going to kick out the knight. I don't want that knight anywhere near my position, okay? It leaves, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself here. I also could just do, I don't have to take the pawn. The point is, Lee wants to go here and get into my territory, and I'm not sure I want to allow that. I'm not sure I want to allow that, actually, which is, crazy considering I would be winning a second pawn, but I am that afraid of the counterplay that comes with playing Lee. So takes rook here, rook there, and then maybe I just start pushing my own pawns. But I have to be so sure. You know what? Let's go b4. I'm not taking the pawn. I'm not taking. Instead, what we are doing is we are just playing like this. We're not giving Lee any sort of counterplay at all. Rook here, my king could get a little stuck, so I'm going to drop my rook back this way, and then I'm going to play king here. Okay, that actually makes me very happy because now I have a protected pass pawn. A knight endgame. Okay, this should be winning for me for sure. Before I wasn't so confident, but Lee is offering me a trade into an endgame where I have a protected pass pawn, so that pawn's going to be a problem for a long time. Counterplay could be created like this. So my question is, do I reposition my knight to this square? I think I should do that. Yes. So now the king is active, but it has to always protect that pawn. And now I can bring my king. So now I have completely shut down Lee's play. Totally shut it down. The only question is, can I easily win from this position? I think the answer is yes. I do think it is yes. I just have to do it correctly. Okay? I'm still scared because Lee is a very, very difficult bot to beat, and I have screwed up against it before. But I am feeling good about my chances. I can go pawn to e4 now, I think. Take. Is there any sacrifice there? h392. Oh, there might actually be, which is completely insane. Okay, let's go here. Let's be very, very, very patient. So let's go e4. I'm just trying to take. Oh, it's giving me another pawn. Wow. It's trying to... I don't even know what it's trying to do, to be honest. It's trying to maybe go this way. This is so fascinating. If it goes this way, and I go here, and it takes, and I take on g5... It shouldn't be good enough, but I am a bit worried. Knight here, the king can come back, and then I can take on d5, knight to f6, king to c4, something like that. Okay, let's bring you back. Ooh, interesting. Okay, it's giving me the outermost pawn, and it's giving me this pawn as well, and I think my king can just run over here. Yeah, I think it has actually given up. Ooh, knight c4. It's knight is trapped. Knight is trapped. If I take, king e4, king b5, king f5, king c4, king f6, king d5, king g5, king d4. It doesn't really matter. And then we get into a big pawn race. Take, here, 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 king e6, here, king d4, king d6, king e3, king e6, king f3, d6. Yeah, that's winning. Okay. Also, I can just, okay, let's do it like this. We are going to get to this pawn. Because here is my pawn, I need to win this pawn and promote. I shouldn't be taking the incorrect thing. King to e6, we calculated all of this. It should work. I'm 3 squares from queening, and Lee's pawns are nowhere to be found. So let's go king to e6, and we are definitely going to queen first. We're 2 squares from queening. Lee hasn't even gotten going yet. We are 1 square from queening. Lee hasn't even gotten going yet. And you have to demonstrate some technique here to win this game. But we should do it. Let's take with the king. We have 3 squares before this comes in. Should be an easy win. Queen d6 stops everything. Stops everything. King here, we just take. Yes, this is a win for us. I think an even more foolproof way to do this is to, okay, let's see. Here, here, king g4, h2. Here, here. Yes, look at this. We're gonna show some nice technique here. All right. We can go here, and when the pawn pushes, our king is just in time. King h1, we have king g3, king there, we have king there. Excellent. Look at this. When a king and an outermost pawn like this are queening, you don't want to allow the queen, obviously. And if the king is far away, it's a draw. But when you are this close, like this, you're always going to win because you have checkmating possibilities. Like right now, I can play king here. And even though Lee is going to make a queen, I would have had mate in 1. So Lee makes a knight. And I win by simply moving here, and the game is over. Check. And checkmate. That was a difficult game. Lee is not an easy bot. Lee requires a huge amount of patience. My advice for Lee would be, do not allow her to get any counterplay. I only won this game with 90% accuracy. Only 90%. I didn't get any more credit than that. I basically put pressure in the beginning. Lee is most vulnerable in the beginning. Most vulnerable. You will have opportunities to win some pawns. You're going to have opportunities to win some pieces. If you get like 15 moves of advantage, like win a pawn or have some good pressure, you always want to limit the counterplay. And that is what I tried to do throughout this game. I had moments like here where I could have taken the pawn, but I didn't. I basically just played really, really patiently. And that is the way you have to win against Lee. It's not going to be easy. If you can even win 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 against Lee, you're a very, very good player. Very qualified, very strong. The last one that I wanted to play today was Nora. There's hair in my mouth. Nora is like the Nelson bot, but on some sort of Norwegian Viking anabolic steroids. Nora is 2200 and constantly brings the queen out early in the game. The best chance to beat Nora is within the first 10 or 15 moves, and by beat I mean get a decisive advantage. Because if you don't, she does not give up the advantage, in my experience. Fun fact, I have started 2 speedruns for master level, and both times the first game against Nora goes like 25, 30 minutes, and because I'm trying to play fast, she just beats me. Like, if you make any mistake against Nora late in the game, that's the end of the game. So whereas with Lee, Lee is programmed slightly weaker and will make some mistakes, Nora is borderline impossible. Like, this bot is the scum of the earth. I really can't say it in a nicer way. Okay? She likes to play this or this, and you're not going to be able to stop it. So let's say you're you just play knight f3. I'm expecting queen f6. Yeah. This is infuriating because 2200s don't play like this. They just don't. And the truth is, I don't know what to play now. I don't know. I don't know. I think the best move against this is just to play like principal chess in the middle of the board. But your best chance is in the beginning. if you are not able to get a strong advantage against Nora within the first 10, 15 moves, you will lose. You will lose. I have tried. Late middle games, end games that Nora plays, all good. I mean, what can you say? Ultimately, it's basically Magnus, right? I want to trade the queen, but I kind of don't want to play like a total wuss. So let's go e5, attacking the queen. Like, queen to g6. Maybe here, and then I kick the queen out. Like, do I want to get into a really complicated tactical game against the bot that literally specializes in bringing its queen out? I don't think so. Instead, I would go here and try to get it to gambit a pawn. See, it's too scared. It didn't, gambit the pawn. So now I take back in the middle. And yeah, in the beginning, Nora loves this idiotic stuff. Like trying to hit you with one of these forks, right? You're not stupid. I'm not stupid, last I checked. So we are going to stop that. Now, we are very slightly better from the beginning stage. Very slightly better, okay? The problem is that to beat one of these bots, like you have to beat them the literal entirety of the game. It is not easy at all to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to develop my bishop to this square, because what I'm seeing is a tactic. If the queen takes on g2, I have this, and I have various tactics on the f7 square. This is so ridiculous. I cannot believe that this works. Can't I take and threaten my own stuff over here? There is no way. I mean, if this works, like, okay, yes, obviously, I get it. I move my king. Don't I have the exact same thing back to the bot? Like, she's going to take my rook, and I'm going to go here. What? No, surely not. No, there's just no way that this can possibly work. Don't I have bishop to d3? Forking. What? Is there this? What the? How is this possible? I'm telling you, like, this bot is just scum, dude. Scum. Take here. I mean, there's no way. There's just no way. I refuse to believe this. Refuse. What about knight back to c3? Then the queen has to stay protecting the knight. Queen f5, I have g4. Well, queen f5, I have knight h4 as well. I think that just works. Knight c3. Hitting this. If the queen goes here, I have this. Knight h4. There is no... Oh my god. Oh my god! How is that? How is this? Like, this bot is the worst. Like, I think I'm still doing great. I think I'm still doing great. I think I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. But what? How? How is that possible? Now, it's trying to do something like this, I think. It's trying to do some sort of witchcraft. Now, I think with this move, I'm setting up my threat. Which means she's now leaving my position. Which means that I do have an advantage, but I mean, and by the way, she's threatening to take a pawn too, which is just disgusting. I mean, that is just... So now I have to, like, how do I do something fast here? Something energetic, something strong, a good move. Really, I'm not crazy about any of my moves, if I'm being totally honest. Because there's all sorts of traps. Like, she's going to go knight, yeah, and now I can't take because my rook hangs. I really don't want to play rook a1. So I think I have to go knight to e4, which is just so absurd that I even have to make these ridiculous gymnastics-like moves. This move is obviously terrible. I can't prove it because I'm playing freaking Nora. But that looks like a terrible move. And it's like, okay, so now what? Like, do I develop my bishop one square and try to slide my rook over? Yeah, like, see, now she's just attacking again. But I don't think that's a great move. Like, I can take on passant, but I don't even think I have to. I think I could just move my knight somewhere, like the c5. Right, to c5, or to even c3 back, because there's none of this anymore. Yeah, let's go knight c5. I definitely think I'm better. I think I for sure have some sort of advantage here. It's just a matter of, like, can I actually keep my nerves together against this scumbag bot? I'm going to drop back. That's hanging. So she's giving me a pawn. What I have learned playing against these bots is you should probably take the stuff that they offer. A lot of the times they're a little bit too... They can overestimate the position. But, like, now I'm not even feeling confident because it's gonna, it's gonna go here and then develop all of its pieces. Yeah, this is wicked behavior. Okay, I'm up 2 pawns actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I have 2 extra pawns. I mean, 2 extra pawns should be good enough. Okay, back to d2 we go. I have 2 pawns up. Yeah, I don't know what Nora's doing. Nora's malfunctioning. This doesn't look like correct chess. I think we are onto something. But how do we actually win? Knight h4 looks promising. Okay. Now do we take the center like this? This looks very strong. Yeah, but this is ridiculous. Because now I can just go back. Like, Nora is just a 100-mile-an-hour bot. It just attacks nonstop. But at some point, like, the attack has to run out. Pawn to h4 doesn't look bad. I'm a little bit hesitant to play a move like this because it's going to go here, right? And so now I can drop back here, or I can drop back that way and try to reposition to the e2 square. I don't know which one is better, to be perfectly honest, but let's go here. It wants a queen trade. Can I defend with the pawn because I'm winning? Yeah, like, what if I just defend with the pawn and try to... I mean, I feel really dangerous opening up my king like this, considering this bot is a lunatic, but I think I'm doing just fine. Okay, don't I just take this? What am I missing? I think now it's in panic mode. Now I can trade the queens. I can also win a 3rd pawn, but I really don't want to win a 3rd pawn. I really don't. I think I can just take and try to win some sort of long endgame, like I did against Lee. Very similar strategy. That might be the way to go here. Another way to go is to just make a different move, like pawn to b4, for example. Just make a move, pass it back. What do we do? Rook g1, there's this. I have maybe some sort of knight to f4 in the air. I could maybe dabble with a knight to f4 move. I don't know. I feel like the more pieces I keep on the board, the much higher chance of me doing something ridiculous. So knight f4. Okay. Nora traded. Rook g3, but this just looks terrible. It looks like I can just trade the pieces now. Can I just trade the pieces? If I trade, there's a knight to c6. No, I'm actually still not confident at all, by the way. This is... No, I'm not confident. Knight h5, maybe. Knight h5 looks pretty good. I like this move. e2? Okay. Check. Oh, now I'm crushing. King has to move. We're making a lot of progress here. So, can I go here and just take a pawn? King e2, and take a pawn on e3. I mean, that is so scary because it's going to come in like this. I have to be so careful. I can play like a b4 maybe, but knight on c6 is still going to come in. I can put the knight on f4 first. Maybe that's the way to go. Play knight f4 first. It's going to maybe come here. Yes. It's still trying to go knight c6. That's the thing. And if I go here, it has this, which is just a headache and a half. I cannot screw this up. I really cannot screw this up. I will be devastated if I mess this up. It's also trying to fork me, like as a bonus. Knight h5 this way. What was the position? Then I went like this, right? So if I bring this knight back... Let's do this. Yeah, this position is like a labyrinth. King e2, king e2, knight c6, king e3, rook b3 check. Oh my god. d5. Is this the solution that I'm looking for? Just pawn to d5? Let's just do it. Let's just we can't let the knight into the game. We just can't allow it. All right. Seems like we've actually gotten somewhere now. I can play... I don't want to play rook g1. King e2, or b4 even. King e2. King e2, king f3. King e2, king f3. Survey says... Okay, but don't I have... No, I don't. Okay, but I can trade the knight. It's a huge win for me to trade pieces here. I don't know what that does. I can take. It's trying to go bishop c5 check. I don't know. I don't get it, but okay. Oh my, there's mates everywhere. I mean, this is so stressful. It's such a tricky, ridiculous bot. Let's go knight f4. I'm just keeping my king completely safe. No nonsense. Rook g7. I can play b4 now. Just totally limiting this bot's movement. b4, no movement for this bot. No movement. Yes. Rook b3, no movement. Completely subduing it. e6 probably. e6 looks very good. Just advancing into the position, trying to take with a knight. Now I have maybe like a rook g1. Just go for the back rank. Now I'm confident because it doesn't have a lot of pieces left. That the first time I allow myself to get confident is when it literally cannot move a single piece. Okay, I'm totally winning. I'm totally winning. We're going to trade all of Nora's pieces, all of them, and just try to win this endgame. Pawn takes. We have 3 extra pawns in an endgame. I still don't know if it's over, by the way. I still don't know. I think it's over. I completely missed that move, by the way. Completely missed it, but it's fine. Now we go b5. We quite literally cannot screw this up, I don't think. I don't think it's possible. e5. Even a4. Just push the pawn. I'm 4 squares away from making a queen. I'm 3 squares away from making a queen. Even b6 probably, but let's just go a6. a6. I'm 2 squares away from making a queen. What? Is it basically just letting me queen? Okay, and now we win because the rook is stuck. The rook is stuck. Now the rook can't move. Folks, let me tell you something right now. Nora is a bot that probably will terrorize you for your entire chess life. This is the worst bot that chess.com made. It is a sleeper bot. It's a bot that not a lot of people know about somehow. Like they don't know just how ridiculous ridiculous and powerful it is, but it is just the worst. I mean, it really is. It is terrible to play against Nora. Terrible. And now I'm going to make another rook just to rub it in. Check. 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 And we will deliver a ladder mate with rooks. And now this is checkmate. The only way to beat Nora is to get an advantage early. She is like the fusion of Lee and Nelson as an opponent. In the beginning, she plays like Nelson. She will give you a chance to have a better position, like we did in this game. 0.7, sometimes even as big as 1, and even as big as 2. But the trickiness, like b5 is crazy. Because then she comes here, and it's like, how do you win? Within the first 10 to 15 moves, you are almost guaranteed some sort of a winning advantage. This was, I had to play knight to g5 going for f7. Okay, I didn't find that. And then, you know, I went here because I was too worried about all the complications. And then she has this ridiculous trick. There are tricks everywhere in the position. And then, you know, at this point, we're better, but we have to prove it. And I did. I mean, I played in a way that completely controlled the position. I didn't let Nora move any pieces forward. I didn't let Nora trade too much. I just controlled the game. Everything was protected. I waited. And inevitably, these bots make mistakes. And the mistake it made was knight e3. This is a really bad move because it leads to trades. But folks, even later, like right here, if I had taken this pawn, I mean, I was worried that there were checkmates in the position. Like rook b3, king f4. I thought I was going to get mated somehow. I'm not. I mean, you have to have nerves of steel. So I played 4 of the most annoying bots on chess.com today. Nora will ruin your life. Lee will ruin your life. Beating Nelson is a rite of passage to calling yourself a slightly stronger beginner and an early intermediate. But man, I mean, they are tough. They are really, really tough. And I do recommend that you spar against them just to practice a little bit, elo free. That's all I have for you today. Get out of here.